Hey guys, we're going to talk about 4 today, writing equations in slope-intercept form. Okay, so let's start off with a couple things we learned a while ago that you're going to need. First thing that we're going to need is how to find the slope of something. So remember that our slope is also our m, right? Slope is also rise over run. It is also y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, those are all the ways we can find slope, which is going to be really important for slope-intercept form. Okay. Also, I want to remind you that slope-intercept form looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, where your m is the slope, and that should be a number. There should be a number filled in there. Okay, and your b is your y-intercept, and there should be a number filled in there. Okay, so if it's slope-intercept form, you should have something being y equals, then you should have an mx plus b. Your m should have a number, your b should have a number. So the only things you should have left is a y and an x. Okay, so I have a couple problems to work through with you, and then you can work on your assignment. So first one says, write an equation given a slope and 1 point. Okay, so we're going to have slope here, and we're going to have 1 point here. So we're going to look at what exactly we need to find with slope and 1 point. So here is our problem. It says, write an equation of a line that passes through this point and has this slope. So this is our m here. Okay, if you need to write stuff down, feel free to pause. I'm just going to keep working. We know that we want slope-intercept form, so I'm going to use our y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to fill in what I know. So as of right now, I know that my slope is 2. Okay, we know that the slope is our m, and that is a 2, so I filled that in. Okay, before I told you, when we do slope-intercept form, our slope needs to have a number, and our y-intercept needs to have a number. And if you look at our problem right here, our slope has a number, but my y-intercept does not, so I need to find what that number is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this point right up here, which is an x and a y, and put it into our equation. So we know our y is 5. We know our x is 1. And I'm going to plug it into my equation. So I'm going to have this here. This is a 1. It's right on the line, so you can barely see it. Okay, now I'm going to solve and find out what the b is so I can put it in. So I'll have 5 equals 2 plus b. I got to get b all by itself, so I need to move that 2 by minusing it. And we find out our b equals 3. Now we can take that b equals 3 and plug it in right here. Okay, so now do we have a y equals equation that has only x and y left and the other things as numbers? Yep, we have a y, a number, x, number. Perfect. So we're done. That's your answer. Okay. So if you're given your slope and a point, plug everything into our y equals mx plus b, solve what you can, and then plug that back in. All right, here's our next one. What if instead we have 2 points given to us? Okay, well, that's going to be a little bit more work, but we can still do it. So write an equation of a line through these 2 points. So 3, -1, 6, -4. Okay, well, the first thing we need to do, I'm going to write down my equation. Okay, I need to fill in the m and the b. Okay, can we find an m? Well, let's look at our notes from earlier. It says our m is if we subtract these. So y2 minus 4 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's going to give us an m. Okay, that's using our slope equation. Remember here, I'll use my pencil to show you the difference. I'm going to make this a plus here and a plus here. I don't want to subtract those negatives, so I'll have a -3 over 9, or -1/3 as my m. Now I have a point and I have an m, and I can plug everything I know into here. At this point, you can pick which one of these you want to use. That's totally up to you. I'm just going to pick the first one. Okay, so I'm going to plug that in. So I need a y, and I have a y right here. Actually, here, I'll show you. This is all the information. I have m equals -1/3, and I have this point right here as my x and my y, and this is what I'm going to use to plug into my equation right here. Okay, so y is -1, m is -1/3, x is -3, and I don't have a b. That's what I need to find. So now I'm going to solve. -1/3 times 3, the top and the bottom here, they'll cancel out, and I'll be left with a +1, because a negative times a negative becomes a positive, plus b. Okay, in order to get this b by itself, I need to -1 from both sides. -2. So now I know that b equals -2. I know that m is -1/3, so now I just need to plug those into my equation. Y equals -1/3 x minus 2, or y equals -1/3 x plus -2. Either works. See, that's going to be my answer. All right, so when you need to find your points, you're always going to go back to this y equals mx plus b. You need to find a m and a b. Okay, that's kind of the whole entire lesson that you're doing. So I'm going to make a note right here. Okay, so our note, we need to, that's a y. So y equals mx plus b. And we need m and b. Okay, those are what you need to find. All right. Okay, so here's a problem that we can solve now. It says after 22 games, I'm sure that's important, J.D. Drew had 10 runs batted in. After 36 games, he had 15 runs batted in. Write a linear equation to estimate the number of runs batted in for any game. So I am guessing right here we could make a point out of this. So I'd have 22, 10 and 36, 15. Okay. It appeared that they were just ordered pairs, or different points. And now I'm going to do exactly what I did up above. So I need to use y equals mx plus b, and I need to find my m and my b. So first thing we're going to do is find our m, and that's subtracting our y's. So 15 minus 10 over 36 minus 22. Okay, remember our equation right here. Subtracting our y's. I will have 5 over 14. That's my m. Okay. And then I'm going to take a point from above to be my x and my y. So I'll just pick let's see. I was trying to see if any of them would be easier, but it's not going to really matter. So I'll do 22 and 10, and that'll be my xy. Just pick the first one, and I'm going to plug them in now to my equation here. So I'm going to plug in a y was 10. My m is 5 over 14. My x is 22 plus b. Okay, so I can reduce this here by 2. So I would have 7 over 11. So I'll have 55 over 7 plus b. Okay, then I have to subtract that from both sides. You'll probably end up making that into a decimal. So we'll have 10 minus 55 over 7. So 55 over 7 is 7.85, so 10 minus 7.86. So I would have negative 2.14-ish. So that would give me y equals m, which is 5 over 14. I'm going to turn that to a decimal. 0.36x minus 2.14. If you wanted to leave them in fraction form, you could. Okay. The last thing says, use the equation to estimate the runs batted in for 72 games. Well, the runs batted in for us was our y value. Okay. So if we plug in a 72 for our x, what would that y be? So y equals 0.36 times 72 minus 2.14. Let's see what that is. 0.14 says 23.78, which doesn't really make sense as a number, so we could maybe round and say about 24 of them, rounding. All right, your assignment is in Google Classroom. If you have any questions, you can feel free to send them my way, or wait until I'm back and I'll be happy to answer them. Remember that you're trying to find an m and a b and plugging it into our equation y equals mx plus b.